Hello again, grade 8s. Today we're going to go over a little bit of substitution. So substitution we have seen before whenever we're using area formulas. So whenever we were doing area in the last unit or volume, really what we're doing is we're just doing substitution. Okay, so it's not like we haven't seen this before, but we just wanted to go over it again and actually term it exactly what it is, right? So it is actually termed substitution, so we wanted to show you exactly what it is. So for this first 6 questions here, okay, it tells us if x equals 6, use substitution to solve each algebraic expression. So find the answer for each of these expressions. So if x is 6, in this case, I take my x, I'm going to substitute 6 in for it, so this would become 6 plus 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. For the second one, you can think of this in a couple of different ways. You can think of this line as making a fraction out of this, or you can think of it as being a divide sign. Okay, so let's substitute our value in first. So if I substitute my value, I get 6 over 3. Okay, when we were doing fractions, we know that this is an improper fraction, so we would actually figure out what it is. We'd reduce it. We could divide top and bottom by 3. So then we would end up with 2. If we think about it as a divide sign, we get the same answer because it would be 6 divided by 3, which would give us 2. Okay, this third one I've already done. So if I've got 5x, if we remember, if I don't see an operator, so an operator being add, subtract, multiply, or divide, okay, if I don't see that, we automatically assume that we're multiplying. Okay, so in this case, 5, and then I substitute my 6 in for x. So 5 times 6 gives me 30. Okay, down here, if x is going to be 6, once again, we substitute in. So 9 minus 6 gives us 3. Okay, this next one is a little bit different because we've got 2 different things that we have to do. We have a multiply and an add. Okay, so let's substitute our 6 in first. So 2 times 6, because we didn't see an operator, so we know that it's multiplied, plus 5. So now, when we get to this point, we have to remember that this, we have to use order of operations on. So what we do first is my multiply. So 2 times 6 is going to give me 12. Then I add my 5 to it, which gives me a total of 17. This last one is similar, okay? So we substitute our 6 in for x, so 30 minus 2 times 6. So then we rewrite it because I have to do this portion of it first. 30 minus 12, which would give me 18. Okay, the last little bit is these ones here at the bottom. So in this case, it's telling us that y is equal to minus 3, and we are going to use our substitution to solve each algebraic expression. So let's start by substituting it in. So I would have minus 3 minus 2. Okay, so if we think about this in terms of a number line, okay, if I have minus 3, okay, and I'm going to subtract 2, subtraction, we're going this way. So I would go 1, 2, so I would get minus 5 for that. Okay, so minus 3 minus 2 gives me minus 5. Okay, this next one, okay, we've got a y here. So we have 7 plus a negative 3, okay, would be the same as 7 subtract 3, okay. So if we expand and get rid of the brackets, this add sign becomes a subtract, which would give us 4. This third one, let's substitute our y in for it, okay. So we've got 24 over negative 3, okay. This one, we might have a little bit of problems with it because we have forgotten our rules for multiplying and dividing integers. Okay, so our rules, if I have a positive divided by a negative, it will give me a negative. Okay, so in this case, positive 24 divided by negative 3 will give me negative 8. Okay, down here we have 9y. We don't have an operator, so again, we're going to assume multiplying. So 9 times a negative 3. once again, if we remember our rules, in this case, positive times a negative will give us a negative. So we get a negative 27. Our last question, let's start by adding in our y value. So in this case, we get 4 plus negative 3 over 3. Okay, so now we're doing order of operations again. So this part is what we have to do first. So up here, we had, if the signs are opposite, we get a negative. So we're going to have 4 plus a negative 1. So then that's going to be the same as 4 minus 1, which is the same as 3. And then finally, we've got kind of a order of operations situation here. So 7 times negative 3 minus 12. Okay, 7 times a negative 3, so a positive times a negative gives me a negative. So this is negative 21 minus 12. Okay, so then we're going to be going further into the negative, right? We're subtracting. So 21 minus 12 is going to give us negative 33. Okay, hopefully this was good for all of you. The big thing is maybe we need to do a review of our adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers rules. But other than that, it should be fairly straightforward.
All right, so that's the first page. Make sure you check your answers. This is the second page now. So if A equals 3, B equals 6, and C equals 2, use substitution to solve each expression. So in this case, A plus B, A is 3, so 3 plus 2 and gets me 5. This one, B minus C, 6 minus 2 gets me 4. Now A and C are just right next to each other. So we are going to assume it's multiplication. So 3 times 2 gets me 6. Now this one, there is a fraction. There's a line underneath, like in between. So we assume it's division. 6 divided by 2 gets me 3. Now this one, 4b plus c. So 4 times 6 plus c, which is 2. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 plus 2 gets me 26. 4c minus 2a. Now these ones, we have to multiply them first before we subtract them. 4 multiplied by 2 minus 2 multiplied by 3. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. 8 minus 6 gets me 2. This one, AB plus C. So that would be 3 times 6 plus 2. We need to follow BEDMAS, so we have to multiply first. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. This one, B over A. B is 6 divided by 3 plus 8. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. A plus BC, so it will be 3 plus 6 times 2. 3 plus 6 times 2 is 12. 3 plus 12 gets me 15. This one's very simple. C plus C. C plus C is 2 plus 2. Gets me 4. Now this one, C plus B minus A. So it's going to be 2 plus 6 minus 3. We're going to go from left to right. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. This one, AB minus BC. We know that we have to multiply these two first before we subtract them. 3 times 6 minus 6 times 2. 3 times 6 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12. 18 minus 12 is 6. All right. Now all of these questions are pretty easy because we're dealing with positive numbers. But what if now we get negatives? So if m equals -5 and n equals -1, use substitution to solve each algebraic expression. We just need to substitute -5 plus 3. Now, on the first page, Mr. Gadet showed you how to use a number line, but we also know how to use integer chips. So I'll show you how to do that. -5 plus 3, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, +1, +2, +3. Are there any zero pairs? Yes, there are. 1, 2, 3, and my answer is going to be -2. Now this one, 7 minus n. 7 minus -1. Now we already learned our rules for integers. When you multiply, you can go negative times a negative is a positive. So 7 plus 1 equals 8. This one, m plus n, -5 minus 1. We can just use integer chips, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, Are there any zero pairs? No, there isn't. So my answer is negative 6. So that is pretty much it for the solutions for this week. Make sure you look at them. If you have any questions, please let us know. Anything else, Mr. Cadet?
I don't think so.
Very
If
good.
you have any questions, please let us know.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.